If you crave dark romance where danger moves slowly, deliberately, where love doesn't rush but waits in the shadows, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Tonight's story begins in an abandoned mansion, with a coffin that should have been cold, and a man who was very much awake inside it. I take the cleaning job because I need the money, and because the listing promises discretion. No questions. No photos. No early departures. Just a week of work at an old estate on the edge of the city, recently reclaimed after decades of neglect. The pay is high enough to quiet the voice telling me this is a mistake. The iron gates groan open when I arrive just before dusk. The mansion rises behind them like a sleeping beast. Stone walls darkened by age, windows tall and unlit, ivy clawing its way up the facade. The air smells damp, ancient, like rain soaked into history. A man meets me at the door. He's white, impeccably dressed, and unervingly still. "You're late," he says, though I'm not. "Traffic," I lie. He studies me for a long moment, then steps aside. "You may begin on the lower floors. Avoid the west wing." "Why?" "Because it's not finished settling." That answer makes no sense, but he's already turning away. Inside, the mansion is colder than it should be. My footsteps echo too loudly, as if the house is listening. Dust coats everything in a thick silvery layer, undisturbed for years. I begin in the dining hall, wiping down a table long enough to seat a dozen ghosts. As night deepens, the silence grows heavier. Not peaceful. Expectant. I keep working because stopping feels worse. It's near midnight when I reach the staircase leading down. The basement wasn't on the checklist, but curiosity has always been my weakness. I follow the steps into the dark, flashlight cutting through the air in thin, trembling lines. The room at the bottom is vast and circular, its stone walls carved with symbols I don't recognize. And in the center, a coffin. Not ornate, not ancient-looking, just dark wood, polished smooth, resting on a low platform. I laugh under my breath, nerves getting the better of me. Then I notice the lid. It's slightly open. I step closer, heart pounding, flashlight shaking. The smell hits me first. Clean earth, iron, something faintly sweet. I peer inside. He's lying there like a man asleep. White, pale as marble. Dark hair brushed back from a face too perfect to be real. His hands are folded over his chest, fingers long and elegant. And beneath my gaze, his chest rises. I gasp, stumbling backward. His eyes open. They are the darkest blue I have ever seen, endless and sharp, locking onto me instantly. He sits up in one smooth, unhurried motion, gaze never leaving mine. "You shouldn't be here," he says calmly. I thought this place was empty," I stammer. He steps out of the coffin, bare feet silent against stone. He's tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in black like the night tailored itself around him. "It is," he says. "Except for me." I back toward the stairs. "I'll leave. I didn't see anything." "You saw everything," he corrects gently. "But you're not running." "I can." "You won't." Something in his voice stops me. Not force. Certainty. He studies me the way one examines a wound, carefully, thoughtfully. "You were hired to clean," he says. "That means you're permitted." "Permitted by who?" "By the house," he replies. A shiver crawls down my spine. "My name is Lucien," he says. "And you should not have found me awake." "What are you?" I whisper. He considers the question. "Tired," he answers. Then after a pause, "And hungry." Fear spikes, sharp and immediate. "I'm not food." His lips curve, not quite a smile. "No, you're not." He moves past me toward the stairs. "Finish your work upstairs. I'll expect you tomorrow." "Expect me?" I choke. "You'll come back," he says without looking at me. "You need the money." He's right, and I hate that he knows it. I don't sleep that night. Every time I close my eyes, I see him rising from that coffin, unhurried and inevitable. I return the next evening anyway. This time he's waiting in the parlor, seated in an armchair like he's always belonged there. Candlelight paints his features in gold and shadow. "You came," he says. "I said I would," I lie. Over the next days a strange routine forms. I clean. He watches. Sometimes he speaks, about the house, about the city before it grew loud and cruel. Sometimes he simply listens while I talk, his attention unervingly complete. He never touches me, but I feel him everywhere. At night, I hear footsteps when I'm alone. I sense his presence behind me, close enough to warm the air, though he never breathes. On the fourth night, I cut my finger on a shard of glass. Blood wells bright and red. The room changes instantly. Lucien is beside me in less than a heartbeat, eyes darkening, jaw tightening. "Cover it," he commands. "I'm fine," I say, though my pulse is racing. "You're not," he replies. His voice is strained now. "And neither am I." He turns away, fists clenched. "You should leave early tonight." "Why?" "Because I haven't fed," he admits quietly. "And you smell like memory." I swallow. "Memory of what?" "Of being alive," he says. I leave that night with my heart hammering, my thoughts tangled in fear and something dangerously close to longing. The attacks start 2 nights later. Shadows moving outside the gates. Scratches on the stone. Whispers curling through the halls after midnight. Lucien grows more restless. I catch him staring at doors, at windows, at me. "They found me," he says finally. "Who?" "Others like me. They think the house belongs to them now." His gaze softens when it lands on me. "They'll use you to draw me out." Fear settles deep in my chest. "Then I should go." "Yes," he says. But he doesn't open the gate. That night they come. Glass shatters. The house screams. Lucien moves like a storm unleashed, ancient and merciless. I hide where he tells me. Hands clamped over my mouth as sounds of violence echo through stone. One of them finds me anyway. Cold fingers grip my arm. Fangs flash. Lucien arrives before the scream leaves my throat. He tears the attacker away, ending him with brutal efficiency. Blood stains his mouth when he turns back to me, eyes blazing. He stops inches from me, shaking. "I told you not to bleed," he whispers hoarsely. "I didn't," I say, terrified. "I swear." He inhales sharply, then presses his forehead to mine, fighting something primal. "If I lose control." "You won't," I say, though I don't know why I'm so sure. Silence falls. When dawn comes, the house is still. Broken but standing. Lucien sinks onto the edge of the coffin. Exhaustion etched into every line of him. "I can't keep pretending," he says. "I want you. And that is dangerous." I step closer. "Then don't pretend." He looks up at me, centuries of restraint cracking. "If I claim you, there's no undoing it." "I wasn't planning on leaving," I say softly. His hand cups my cheek, reverent. His touch is cold, but it steadies me. "You chose a monster," he murmurs. "I chose you." He kisses me slowly, carefully, like something fragile and sacred. No fangs. No blood. Just promise. I never finish cleaning the mansion. I stay. Because the coffin is no longer empty at night. And neither am I. The first night I stay, I don't sleep. I sit on the edge of the bed in one of the upper rooms, listening to the house breathe. The mansion sounds different now, less hollow, more aware. Every floorboard creak feels intentional. Every shadow feels occupied. Lucien doesn't come to me. That somehow makes it worse. Just before dawn, I find him in the parlor again, standing by the tall windows as pale light creeps across the floor. He hasn't moved since I last saw him. His reflection barely exists in the glass. "You should rest," I say quietly. "I don't sleep the way you do," he answers. "Not anymore." I hesitate, then step closer. "Did you mean what you said? About claiming me?" His shoulders tighten. "Yes." "And what does that mean?" He turns to face me fully. In the early light, he looks less monstrous, more impossibly tired. "It means tying your life to mine. It means danger will never truly leave you. It means you will be watched. By them. By everyone," he says. "By the house. By my kind. By time itself." I swallow. "And what do I get?" His gaze softens. "Longevity. Protection. Devotion. And love." I ask before I can stop myself. Lucien is silent for a long moment. Then he steps closer, slow, deliberate. "I don't use that word lightly," he says. "But yes. If I claim you, I will love you in the only way I know how, completely and forever." Something in my chest aches at that. Days pass. Then weeks. The mansion changes with me inside it. Windows open that never did before. Dust settles more slowly. Flowers bloom along the outer wall, dark and thick-petaled. Lucien teaches me the rules of surviving him. Never wake him during daylight. Never invite another vampire inside without his presence. Never bleed carelessly. I learn his habits, his silences. I learn the difference between hunger and restraint. I learn that when he watches me from across a room, it isn't possession, it's vigilance. Once I ask him why the coffin was warm. He hesitates. Because I was dreaming. About what? He looks at me then. About you. Long before you arrived. The night he finally feeds, he doesn't leave. He kneels in front of me instead, asking permission with his eyes, his hands hovering, shaking slightly. When I nod, he presses his lips to my wrist. Not to break skin, but to feel my pulse. He doesn't take much. Just enough to steady himself. Just enough to bind something invisible between us. Afterward, he holds me like something precious. Like something he's waited too long to touch. I won't turn you, he whispers. Not unless you asked. I rest my head against his chest, listening to a heart that doesn't beat. Not yet. Ever, he asks. I smile faintly. Ask me again in a century. The mansion settles around us, old and watchful. The coffin stays empty. And for the first time since he was buried in that dark wood box, Lucien stops dreaming of being alone.